Hey guys, back with another video. Set up the DSLR this time. Wanted to try something other than the GoPro. Did take a little bit longer to set up, but image quality should be 100 times better. So I set up the camera. Didn't really know what to talk about. So decided to do a 2-day review on one of my new knives that I just got yesterday. If you follow me on Instagram, which is the same username as my YouTube channel, Nest4Knives, you'd know which knife I got yesterday. I already did a mini, 15-second overview now that Instagram has video on there. I also blew up everyone's feeds with a couple pictures that I took, like product shots of this knife. Without further ado, let's go and take a look here. I'm just gonna refocus the camera a little bit closer. Don't have my normal lenses. Everything's being rented out, so I have my 40mm on my camera right now, so everything is kind of farther away. But when I do get my wide angle lens back, I'll be able to get in a little bit lower, a little closer to the table, so I'm not standing at an awkward angle here. But here it is. Let's see if I can just get the corner of it. There it is. And boom. Curtis F3. That's been pimped by Matthew Christensen. Basically, he posted this up on Instagram, and I jumped on it. Didn't even think about it. I remember going to Curtis Knives website, and the books were actually open, and I decided, hey, they'll be open for a while. I'll just wait on it. About a day later, they were already closed. So when this went up, and I got a free print job by Matt, I jumped on it. I like to call this style a fancy Fallout. Basically, what he did was acid stone etched the blade, anodized the titanium handles, and also bronzed the hardware. It's a little harder to see the bronze just because it's mirror polished too, but you can see the spot pivot there, the back spacer, the gear pattern, and also the screws and the pocket clip. I've only had this knife for 2 days, but I haven't been able to put it down. Basically, I kicked everything out of my pocket. I was thinking about it, and everybody compares the Curtis F3, this is the 3.5-inch version, to the Hinderer, or they're calling it the Hinderer Killer. Which, I mean, it's pretty accurate. I don't have a Hinderer, so I can't say for sure. But this knife is a dream. It's a dream to play with. It's a dream to use. I think of it more as if, like, the Sebenza and the Hinderer were to have a baby, you would get this guy. You get the flipping action, you get the full titanium handles, and pretty close tolerances to this guy. You can see here, got about a 50% lockup, and centering is pretty centered, but just look at how tight the tolerances are on this. It's pretty close. I can't really tell, but this side is even closer just because of the detent goes in. Now, that is one thing I noticed about this knife, is this particular model, not saying all of them are going to be like this, but the detent is pretty strong. It's probably the strongest detent I have on any of my knives, but what that translates to is once you overcome that buildup, the blade fires out. Like, no matter what angle I'm in, it's like up diagonal, which I found to be the hardest, going up against gravity, just jumps up. It's pretty smooth. It's riding on an IKBS. I believe they're ceramic ball bearings. Not as smooth as this guy, though. The Reloader, which I'm sure everyone knows, is one of the smoothest knives. The detent is like a quarter of what the detent is on the F3, and it still flies out. I would say the smoothness is comparable to my ZT 561. This one is, the blade is definitely a little bit heavier on this, so it doesn't fly out as much. But both of them are pretty dang smooth. Now the one thing that I could attribute to that strong detent is look at this cutout and look how thick that is compared to, like, let's say a Sebenza cutout here. Kind of see how thin that is. There's two cutouts there. This one has a single one, and it's higher up and it's a lot thicker. So let's see if I can get this on camera, but watch how far over this lock bar travels in. Maybe you can't see that. It's not as drastic as I thought it would be, but let's try to close it again. Maybe it's just the angle that it's in. But yeah, it pretty much jets in there. It's a pretty big detent hole there. But like I said, it's not a problem because once you overcome it, it flies out. You can do it the light switch method. Jumps out. You can do it the push button method. Jumps out. There's really, once you overcome that detent, there's no stopping this blade. It almost jumps out like as if it was a assisted knife. As far as the ergos to this knife, a lot of people complain that the 3.5 inch, like this finger choil, is a little awkward for their hands, but mine, my first two fingers fit right into that groove, followed by the other two, and it is great. Fits great in my hands. I wear a size large glove. Jimping is great here. One pleasant surprise that I found with this is in the reverse grip, same deal, two fingers there, two fingers here, but this is actually more comfortable than the standard grip. You can see here the pocket clip. When I put my hand down, my middle finger fits right into that recess. This is pretty comfortable. I can hold the knife like this all day. Doesn't really help when cutting boxes open, which is really what I do most of. I plan on using this knife. It's not going to be a safe queen. I mean, it's a great knife, and even Curtis's website says that these knives are meant to be used, so that's definitely what I'm going to be doing with it. Just can't stop. Cannot stop. I must have flicked this open like 1,000 times, over 1,000, and if you watch my video overview, you'll see that that lockup has not changed, which is a good sign. Yeah, that's about it, guys. A little quick overview. Thanks for watching. Good night.